I got in my hand here, generated by Flex Power, no less, 6 games that we're going to put on the Upset Alert concern meter for college football week 9. And the first one, where else do we start in Cocktober? But Columbia, South Carolina. Okay, Alabama's rolling. Alabama's in the commissioner's poll. They're in the AP poll. They're in the JP poll. They're everywhere. They're favored to win the SEC. But no one is invincible, especially in Cocktober. Actually, everyone has been so far this year. Is South Carolina really going to go winless in Cocktober? That's what God created this month for. They can't go winless, can they? Well, they're going to have to win as a double-digit dog at home this weekend. Look, this is a terrible spot for Alabama dynamics-wise. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, dynamics, schmymamics, they can't score. South Carolina can't score. And I will grant you that they haven't scored. Is that going to continue here? Now, let me tell you why it's a terrible dynamics spot for Alabama. Firstly, I want you to listen to me properly here. I'm not trying to discount the Tennessee win. From a front-facing, forward-looking, predictive standpoint, what if I did nothing more last week than changed that play at the goal line? Tennessee scores near the half. It's 16-14. Tennessee's receivers don't drop a couple of uncontested balls. All I'm saying, I know you're yelling already. Stop it. All I'm saying is the game could have been closer, and you'd feel a little more nervous about this one here. And it is 4 out of 4 weeks that you had to be up emotionally. Georgia, check. Vandy, check. Missouri, check. Tennessee, check. This is college football. It's hard to get guys up 5 weeks in a row. Immunity, yes, to all of it. And now you got to go on the road, and what are you looking at? You looking at South Carolina, or are you looking past South Carolina to the bye week where everyone gets to heal up? Your hip flexors hurting a little bit. Maybe got a hip pointer. Maybe got a little turf toe, elbow. Oh, we just got to get through South Carolina, guys. Meanwhile, they're in the most wounded animal mode, back against the wall home dog spot ever. So these are some of the dynamics. And also, lest we forget, Bama's been in all these close games lately. Let's not just totally ignore the double-digit underdog spot that's already bitten them under Kalen DeBoer a few times. Why do I sound so cautionary here? Because this is my national championship pick, and someone's got to warn these people they could be in trouble. I'm putting a 5 on it. South Carolina's not going to outscore them, of course. But what could happen here? Something crazy. Alabama hasn't turned the ball over a lot. What if they're -3 turnovers? What if South Carolina returns a kick for a touchdown? That's how it would happen. That's how 21-19 would happen. If that's the final score, so help me, we're not doing this segment anymore. I'm going to put a 5 on it. Next up, you see him? You see him right there? Hold on, right there. That is Floyd of Rosedale, and it is the greatest trophy, not in college football, but in sports, and it's on the line this weekend. Minnesota versus Iowa. Iowa, an 8.5-point favorite. 2 losses for Iowa this year by a combined 8 points. They lost to Iowa State. They lost to Indiana. And everyone remembers Indiana dominated Oregon. They body-bagged Illinois. Well, they beat Iowa by 5. So Iowa's been okay this year. Not great. It's Iowa football. They're not going to be great, but they've been okay this year. Minnesota out-physicaled Nebraska last week. There's no mystery. That's how they won that game, Friday night. Not going to probably out-physical Iowa, but they could beat them. P.J. Fleck looking to attract some attention, looking to get a little spotlight over on his name. You got to get Darius Taylor going. You do that, and they are prone to do that, or want to do that, I guess is the proper phrasing. They could do that. They could win 3rd down here. They got an outside shot. Give me a 6 on the upset alert concern scale. Anything happens when the Floyd is on the line. Jesse, didn't you tell me Iowa's won 9 of the last 10 Floyds? Yeah, they've won 9 of the last 10. I mean, the Floyd, it's a fickle trophy. It's a very fickle trophy. Next up, UCLA is at Indiana. So we're either going to see a crash and this thing's going to fall back to earth, or we're going to see record levels of confetti. There really is no in between here, is there? 25.5, a lot of points. I actually think that is a lot of points. Maybe a few too many? We'll talk about that later. This is one of those classic just-in-case whisper games that Meemaw told me about growing up. The just-in-case whisper game is the game where everybody you know, not everybody that you have in your life, every college football buddy, they make sure and mention this game at some point during the week. Here's what it sounds like. Boy, UCLA, man, they're playing Indiana. That's it, okay? That's all Fred said at the tire shop on Tuesday. However, If UCLA wins the game, Fred will be there Monday morning, and he'll say, I told you. Fred, you didn't tell me. You mentioned the matchup. That's the strategy. That's the strategy. Everyone knows UCLA been really plucky lately. You know how rarely I use that word. And everyone knows Indiana has this growing profile about them, and everyone wants to be on the record as having said, it could happen. It could happen. I know because I do it all the time. I spot this from a mile away because I do it all the time. UCLA's won 3 straight. It's a very underrated quarterback battle. Mendoza, Nico, how about that? Maybe we'll see it a couple of more times. No, probably not. 9 a.m. body clock kickoff for UCLA. The Big Ten continues to insist on making West Coast teams play with an hour and a half still to go before McDonald's stops serving breakfast in their backyard. This game's being played in Bloomington, of course. So I'm going to put a 5 on it because when you have a dynamic presence like they do at quarterback, you always have a shot. UCLA's got a shot. It's not unfamiliar territory for them to be 3+ touchdown underdogs this year and win. They've done, earmuffs, Jesse, they've done it already to Penn State. All right, take them off. Give me a 5. Or actually, give me a 3. I don't want to go 5. I mean, it's 25.5 point spread. Give me a 3. That's enough to just have said, I told you it could happen, if it does happen. Next up, hey, wait just a second. I appreciate you guys watching. Most of you are subscribed. If you're not, please do so. It's free. It helps us keep the show free, and that's how we do college football year-round. All right, back to the video. Texas cannot score, and they are on the road against Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby looking for a signature win. Texas is laying 7.5 points, and by that, Vegas means they're hoping to win 13-6, something like that. No, math doesn't work on that, does it? Yeah, 13-3. How about that? At this point, I am not of the camp that keeps sitting around waiting for Texas to find themselves offensively. I think Texas has found themselves offensively. They just don't like what they found. There's not a whole lot there, guys. There really is not a whole lot there. This is the back-to-back road week in the SEC. I think we counted 5 different teams in this conference that are playing second consecutive road games this week. Who are they, Jesse? It's Texas, it's Texas A&M, it's Ole Miss, it's Tennessee, and it's Missouri. Didn't even need stats and info for it. So, Mississippi State's been close this year. They need the signature win. They need it. Jeff Lebby needs something to take out on the road and recruiting in the portal and say, see, I told you we were coming. Well, they almost had Tennessee. I believe that game went to overtime. And then I cannot believe they didn't beat Florida last week. It was so bad, Florida won and still fired Napier. That's how bad it was. So they need it. Now, A&M smoked them pretty good, but otherwise they've been competitive this year. They beat Arizona State. I'm going to put a solid 8.5 on this. Mississippi State can hit some plays over the top. It's Texas. It's tough. I grant you it's tough to score on that defense, but can you really just ride a defense all year long? I wasn't even going to say, can you ride D all year long? No. Can you ride the defense all year long? Or is there that one week where it just has a hiccup? Not a total no-show, but a hiccup. I'm worried about Texas now and beyond. I'm worried about them. So put an 8.5 on the upset alert concern scale in this game. Next up, I don't know about this, guys. Syracuse is getting 16.5 on the road at Georgia Tech. So I don't have a problem with Georgia Tech being in the top 10. I've got them ranked in the top 10. And I don't have a problem with Georgia Tech being ranked, but man, is there that much separation here? You could make the argument, not that I would, but you could make the argument Georgia Tech got outplayed by Wake Forest, got outplayed by Duke last week. Does it matter? No, they won the games. However, from a point spread perspective, from a predictive perspective, I don't care if Cuse does have a backup quarterback. We love betting backup quarterbacks. Ricky Collins or not. Barely above 50% completion. Hey, that just means his best ball's ahead of him. I am a little bit interested in this. I'm going to put a 4 on the upset alert concern meter. I think it's too many points. More on that later in the show. Lastly, Kentucky took Texas to overtime last week. They've got Tennessee coming in. Again, yet another one of these teams, like a quarter of the league, a third of the league, is playing their second consecutive road game. I don't know why you people allow this to happen to your teams. This isn't even the worst example of conference scheduling. The ACC has a chunk of teams that took both of their byes in a 3-week stretch. Again, you people control this. What are you doing to yourselves? So this is Kentucky in an interesting spot. That is not how you pronounce the word. It's a peculiar spot. That's what it is. Because they took Texas to overtime last week. Now, that could serve to do one of two things. That could either fuel you to finish the job this week, or it could flatline you. And you just poured it all out last week, and Tennessee comes in and wins 38-10. I think that Kentucky's much different at home than on the road. They've gone on the road this year, and they got beat by Georgia soundly. They got beat by South Carolina soundly. But at home, they took Ole Miss to the limit. They took Texas to overtime. Tennessee's 5-2. They're coming off the Bama game. They've got Oklahoma, Josh Heupel's former team, on deck. Might this be a letdown look-ahead spot? Does that still exist in modern college football? I think it does enough for me to put a 6.5 on the upset alert concern scale here. So there you go. If any of these happen, this segment serves to say I told you so.